Russia says it's pulling out of the International Space Station after 2024. Earlier this year, Russia's space agency announced it would pull out of the I.S.S. Now the agency's director has provided President Vladimir Putin a timeline for the move after 2024. He said Russia will meet all its obligations to mission partners before quitting the station. From DW Science, I'm joined by Leah Albrecht. Leah, just how significant is this announcement today?
Well, of course, it is significant as the ISS was built upon the cooperation between Russia and the US. That's the basic building block of it. Imagine the Russian side, for example, is responsible for the orbital corrections. They push the ISS into the right orbit once in a while, whereas the NASA, the US segment, is responsible for its energy supply with its solar panels. So, of course, Russia leaving the ISS will change things aboard the ISS, and it's posed the question if it's still able to continue working. But it's not really a new announcement, it's not really a new fact. We knew that Russia is playing with the idea of not continuing its work on the ISS.
Just another movie night.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. We are Just Another Movie Night, and I am Scott.
And I'm Joe.
And today we're doing before and after reviews where we go see a brand new movie in the theater, and we give our thoughts before and after, spoiler-free, of course. And today we're seeing I.S.S. as our first movie of the show, of this show in the new year.
Yay!
2024.
What does ISS stand for, do you think?
The International Space Station, honey.
That's what we said the other day. I said International Space Station. And then we made up our own things, and we said something like intergalactic...
Planetary?
Intergalactic space something or other.
All right, so this is one of those movies that came out of nowhere that I just kind of saw the trailer and I found it very unique. I actually had a friend who pointed it out to me, and I wasn't even aware that it was a thing. This was hardly advertised. We actually didn't see previews for it in the theater until last week.
Yeah, when you actually told me there's this movie I want to see, it's called I.S.S., and I'm like, okay. Well, I don't know how you came across that one because we always see movies together and trailers together. So I was like, oh, okay, someone on Instagram must have posted this or something.
Oh yeah, I actually got a head up from a friend at work, and he told me, "Have you seen the trailer?" No, didn't even know what it was, and he was right. It is something that catches my eye. It's a thriller in space on the International Space Station between America and Russia as war breaks out on Earth.
I mean, it's a crazy concept.
It's a really cool concept, actually.
Yeah.
Especially with all the tension right now between Russia and America going on right now, and them potentially pulling out of the International Space Station in real life, which we have a collaboration with them, and it only will work with the sides working together.
Right.
And to be honest with you, the International Space Station's not doing so great anyways. Sooner or later, that sucker's going to fall out of the sky.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, it can't stay up there forever. I mean, I don't know how they would keep it going for as long anyways. But they have plans to slowly dismantle it. But that won't be till way later. But Russia's already talking about backing out. So the collaboration's dying. Sides are eroding. Perfect time for this movie, I think. It's a director I'm not aware of, and I won't even begin to butcher this name. I believe her name is
Yeah, let me try. Hold on.
Oh.
Gabriella Cowperthwaite? I think I did it.
That's how I was going to say it.
Gabriella Cowperthwaite. Okay, cool. I like that name. Neat.
My chair now has a fart noise. So if anybody catches that on the thing, sorry about that.
It's 100% Scott, not me.
Yeah, and it's not real gas, I promise.
But what if it is? Will all of you judge us? Are we not human? I mean, come on. It happens.
Okay, let's point out some of the actors, which is really interesting too. John Gallagher Jr. is in this movie. Who he's an actor that every pops up in something. I always like the movies that he chooses, but he's like one of those really underground. He was on The Newsroom. He was in the movie
Yes.
Hush, where he plays a killer that's stalking is a mute.
Yeah. That's right. And he was also in 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yes.
Yeah, I like this guy too.
Yeah, and also Chris Messina.
Yep.
He played Victor Zsasz in the weird Harley Quinn film, and he also was in Boogeyman, I believe, last year.
Yeah, he was in Argo. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's in some stuff that we like.
Yeah, he's in some stuff too. But the lead actress in this movie is actually the actress who we loved in West Side Story's remake,
No, the one that played
Anita.
Anita. Yeah.
Yeah, she's actually she was really good. She was one of the standout stellar moments of that movie.
Oh my God, she was amazing in
Yeah.
that.
So the cast is pretty good, and I also believe the actor who was on Game of Thrones that played the one that had a Mary Cersei, who was from
Oh yeah.
he was like the Kraken, the people of the water.
Okay, yes. Can we say his name? Because his
Oh, I
name is
can never do it.
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, Pilu Azbayek.
I love it. This is where I love you, because this is where you come in and save me from my butchering of anybody's
Oh, honey,
names.
I don't know if I'm saying it correct either.
It
but
sounds beautiful the way you said it. I'm not gonna lie.
Thanks.
Well, I mean, it has some stuff going for it, and I actually think the concept could be very clever. I'm not expecting anything groundbreaking, but I am expecting an interesting kind of thriller. And I don't know if I talk about this a lot on the show. I have a theory that thrillers are horror movies to me, and it's the kind of horror movies that I love to see. A lot of people just associate horror with gore and slashers, and I don't. I always particularly find horror in the aspects of what if.
yeah, expectation.
The expectations, the psychological thrillers, these movies where it's people pitted against each other, and it's the human nature, which is the scary bit. And that is my favorite type of films. I absolutely love those movies, and I think that's why I love and I gravitate to horror so much. I love that psychological aspect of it.
Yeah, there are several types of horror movies, and we love them all. So I'm really curious about this because I love space
Yeah,
epics. I mean, obviously, my favorite movie of all time is Aliens. So I'm excited. I might know it's not an Aliens type thing. I don't, but I'm just saying. I just like the space.
I like
epic.
space stuff too, and I'm sorry for anybody listening. We are not flat earthers. We believe that they're in the space station, and it is real. I unfortunately found down a rabbit hole before we did this taping that I found out that everybody thinks the NASA videos are all faked and that they're all on wires or upside down, and that blew my mind. I didn't know we were going this far with that, but we believe that they're up there. Let's just say that there are people in the space stations.
Yeah, I believe
At
that.
least that's where we're coming from, and I think that was kind of necessary to point out.
Yeah, I also believe in life on other planets. So, you know,
That's getting into something else.
call me crazy, but you know, I don't care what anyone thinks. There's stuff
Well, the
out
possibility that outside of our solar system, right, outside of our
Yes.
galaxy,
How would we even
that there's
know?
a possibility
Yeah.
that there is life on other planets?
there. I
How could
believe
it
that
not be?
100%.
I mean,
100%.
the cosmos.
Yeah, you don't know what's out there.
I played Katamari Damacy.
Hey,
I
I watched
know.
the X-Files. Okay, I know.
You
it's
want to
out there.
believe.
And yes, and I do. I do believe, damn it. I do. So I'm like excited about this movie. I don't really know much. You know, I don't have any.
I cleared up one. We debunked one. We're not on one side of the the conspiracy, but then you brought up the other thing, and you said, "No, I'm on this side. I'm on this fence."
What you mean? I'm not on any fence.
Aliens. We're not flat earthers. Aliens.
I just believe in life. I believe that life finds a way.
I love these conversations, and I love when people awkwardly get they start opening up and everybody feels a little tense in that moment. I think this happened recently with my family. I think we saw my parents and my mom and you just started like saying stuff, and me and my father were slowly trying to back out like like Homer Simpson going into the hedges.
Because your mom thinks that she was abducted by aliens.
She won't stop talking about it, and also, what did she say? That everything's a lie. It's all a lie. Never been to space. And I was like, okay, I'm back. I'm out. I'm out, Mom. And I was like, enough is enough.
Man. I'm like, if you were abducted by aliens, though, how come they sent you back? You know,
Yeah,
you seem to have advanced knowledge of things.
I have weird scars. I never had those yesterday.
No, she had a crumpled sheet on her stomach, and then when she removed the crumpled sheet, it left a line on her stomach, and she thought she was abducted by aliens.
Yeah,
And she was probed.
probably. She just slept and she had a fold.
Oh my God, Mom, if you're listening, we love you.
I love you. I just love my father being very quiet.
Yes.
He's just like,
he just lets her go.
In his mind, he's just like scuba diving, bowling, anything else but this.
Cruising.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
love it.
gosh.
I just love it, love it, love it, love it. Yeah. So I mean, what is your expectations on review? What we normally do? Here?
Oh, well, I have a feeling this is going to be an exciting movie just because I love sci-fi. I'm into sci-fi a lot, so I think it's going to be a good movie. I'm probably going to come out with like a 6. Maybe
Okay.
a 6, hopefully a 7.
Yeah, I think that a 6 seems like it's the best thing. I can't imagine. I mean, on the low expectation ideas, I can't imagine what would happen in this movie that pissed me off.
Yeah, see,
Like-
that's the thing. When I see movie trailers like this, my first reaction is to be like thrilled, you know? Like I'm not thinking, oh, this is gonna be a piece of crap. Like a
Exactly.
made for sci-fi TV piece of crap. I'm like, ooh, that looks kind of neat.
Yeah, I can't imagine this doing something that would irritate me, but I do feel that I can guess the movie. And I mean, if I had to sit here and come up with the entire idea of what this movie might be,
Say it.
well, I'm look, from what I can gather, it looks like war has broken out on Earth, and they're telling them in the space station to take it over. So
Yeah.
it's sides versus sides.
That's in the trailer though.
Like, that's what I'm saying. So what I'm gathering here is that they're gonna battle and they're gonna kill each other off, and I can only assume that one person survives. But if one person survives, humanity's doomed anyways.
True. So you think it's gonna be like a battle royale in space?
That's exactly what I think this movie's gonna
Cool.
be. Yes, and it's unfortunate because I think the idea is a collaboration where these people are supposed to get along and not bring politics in and not bring in all that stuff. They're just supposed to get along and work together as scientists.
Yeah, I
And-
mean, you know, I was thinking though, there can't be too much character development in this movie. I mean, I would think not because it's only an hour and a half.
I think that they're well. Look, a clever movie can do character development very, very smart in a smart way. I mean, by slowly building your characters or giving little glimpses into them and who they are and what they would do in those scenarios.
Yeah.
Without going into backstory. I think, yeah,
Okay.
I think you're pointing out something good. If this movie does do flashbacks to those people on Earth and the ones that they maybe lost, it might bring me out. I'd rather just stay in the space station, learn these characters through clever shots, through just the glimpses. My favorite movies are the ones that don't have to shove it in your face of something, making you understand them. You can learn about them slowly.
Yeah.
All you would need to do is like clever shots of like pictures on their desk or just little references or to make you understand who this person is,
Yeah.
and that could be done very well. So I don't know.
They're gonna have to humanize each one of them. So I think that we'll probably get a little bit of something in their backstory, a little
Yeah.
bit, but hopefully it's just like a battle royale.
The humanizing thing is very good. I'm glad you brought that up too, because I guess one of my things that could be a negative if they don't humanize both sides. If this is swaying only toward the American side, then I will be very angry.
Yeah. We need everyone to have the same.
Yeah,
like,
I want to
equality.
be. I think it would be better to completely be thrown at who am I supposed to root for.
Yeah, That's what I mean. Like that's why we need like, okay, so this guy's a douche. We don't like him.
Yeah.
And this girl she's got a lot of heart. We like her, and so forth. So I'd like to have somebody to root for in this, whatever side,
Yeah.
just somebody. So yeah, I'm interested in this. Let's go see it.
All right, let's go check it out.
Hey guys.
Wait a minute, what the hell is going on down there?
Oh, whoa.
We gotta get out now, guys.
Let's get out.
Oh my god.
Земля, это экипаж МКС.
Houston, do you read?
War has broken out below. And we were told to take the ISS by any means necessary.
If we got orders from our government to take control,
What do you suggest we do now?
the Russians got the same orders as us. And they just struck first.
Struck first. Mutually, we're evolved species.
Hello, and we're back. We just saw I.S.S. And let me just say, war. What is it good for?
Absolutely nothing.
Good God, y'all.
We're such dorks.
Yeah, we saw this movie. Okay, so I think it's safe to say that the movie didn't exactly land as well as it could have. I would say that there was a lot of opportunity to make this something much more satisfying, but it didn't exactly stick any of it. It's still kind of interesting and decent.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's something interesting about it, but I thought the characters, there's a lot of intensity in this, kind of like a little bit on the edge of your seat. They did some things that I felt were kind of fruitless.
Oh, absolutely.
I guess like because things happen in the movie and then they kind of do like a switcheroo on you and then
Yeah, they did a red herring type
Yeah,
of
I was
false kind of thing that didn't really come back, and it was kind of trying to trick you a little bit, but I feel like the movie is extremely obvious.
yes, it is. But I feel also that I don't really care much for that ending. I didn't care much for it. It was kind of up in the air. Did you see what I did? Because they're in space.
They're in space.
I'll see myself.
No spoilers, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it is the only way it could have ended. So that's how I would say. We could talk about it off here on Spoiler Talk on our own. But on here, I feel like, yeah, it's a little too obvious, and the ending is playing it safe. And I feel like when you go into a movie like this, when you have established characters, you kind of automatically know, especially in our day and age, they are playing it way too safe in movies these days, and it's too obvious. And this movie is extremely obvious in that way. I think what it would have been a better movie is to meet all of our characters and not know who is going to be what's going to happen, what direction each character is going to go.
Yeah.
It would be way more interesting when every character is their own entity, to have it play out even more, make it more interesting, that the characters, you wouldn't know which direction each person's going to take.
I like not knowing about that.
And in this movie, I knew instantly. And I guessed it in the before. It's not something, I feel like it's right there in the trailer. So, I mean, in that sense, now here's the thing. We never talk about this enough. I think trailer versus movie. And I feel like this is one of those times, again, where the trailer is what's really a great hook, and something that sometimes these trailer editors know exactly how to do, they take a moment that should be more of a connection and they harp on it in the trailer, and it makes it flow and work and it makes it stand out a little bit. The the movie could have used that. It's I hate when the and I feel like this is one of those debates where the trailer makers or the editors in the trailer, on the trailer, kind of sometimes know what to do better, and they have sometimes let them make movies or edit movies, and it doesn't really work. It's a kind of a debate. I think that's what we talked about recently with Suicide Squad. I think on our other podcast, we were talking about how like the director did his movie, but when the trailer was such a hit, they were like, let that person who did the trailer work on the movie.
Yeah.
And so they basically let him go behind the scenes and chop it up. And it became kind of like a trailer nightmare, like a music video. And that doesn't exactly work. But here, in the trailer, they work with the song that connects the characters, which should have been a bigger moment, and it should have been more establishing this group as a family unit, and make them have like a more of a, like an entertaining connection to each other, and then use that song like the trailer does by chopping it up and making it creepy and making that the intensity music. And that would have really, really worked here, because it would have been taking that thing that was the connection and then using it to break up. And I think that would have been really, really smart in this film. It could have used something like that. In fact, I feel like this movie was really lacking on music and score. Like the moments that should have been really powerful, it didn't. It felt quiet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We've seen space movies, space epics and stuff that really do music very well and score and all that. But like I did feel like there was this movie was missing something in that department for sure.
Yeah, even with directing, I feel like even in that aspect, it's kind of lacking. The whole thing kind of plays it way too safe. I think that, like with character emotions, it's playing it too safe.
Yeah.
With reactions, it's playing it too safe. Even the direction is very simple. It could have been playing with elements more creative shots. It could have used something to spice it up, like just to add a little bit of a punch that maybe would have made most of the moments play bigger. Sometimes you need to really kick up those stakes and make them. There's like a scene in this movie, right, where I mean, we already know the plot, so it's not a spoiler. The plot is, what do you do if you're forced on this small location to turn against your neighbor? And there's a part in this where one person's looking for the other people, and they're hiding within like luggage or whatever it is, and it just doesn't play intense. It doesn't play like it should, where you feel like a tense moment, like this something might happen here. It kind of plays comedic.
Yeah, it was a little goofy, that scene. I was
Yeah.
thinking that too.
It just looks so funny to see people hiding within like garbage.
Yeah. Just their heads were poking
Just their
out.
heads
and
poking
stuff.
out, yeah.
But like, yeah, I feel like this movie could have used a lot of intense music to accompany the intense parts. Like I feel like the actors were fine. I thought they all did an okay job.
Yeah.
But
They're all fine.
They're fine. It just doesn't. It didn't hit right. It didn't hit the way it was supposed to.
Yeah, and I don't think it's on them. I think it's definitely on direction.
Yeah, the actors, they did fine. There's nothing on them. But it was definitely, I feel like the director for sure, because I wanted to feel as though I was in this little pod, with
Yes,
them.
you should feel that isolation.
Yeah, but I didn't.
No. No, it didn't feel like that world-ending stakes type of situation that is supposed to be happening.
Right.
And that sucks. And no creativity in those moments either. There's just not enough spice to make this really stand out.
Yeah, no.
It's unfortunate because I think it has such a unique idea that it definitely could have used more of like a script doctor just to spice it up, add dialogue, better dialogue, more establishing on the characters before the incident, and then really kick up those moments with a little more of a stylized eye. And that this might have been something really interesting, really creative. And I hate that, that whole idea where it's like you have something really interesting, unique, and it's a concept that right now that kind of is something that could have used people to talk about. And I think that they had that on the table, and that it's just what we ended up getting. You could see why it was dumped in January.
Yeah.
Yeah, and January movies usually get dumped out that aren't so hot,
Yeah.
which makes me always worry for some of these movies that are coming out.
Yeah, another thing
Still
that,
want to give them a chance.
yeah, you pointed out the theater experience. I feel like we could have watched this on our couch.
Yeah, this felt like it could have been an episode of like a Black Mirror.
Yeah.
But I feel like even Black Mirror is more stylized and more
Yes,
unique
it's
and
for sure.
and thrilling. This didn't have that, although
No.
it feels like it could have been. Well, I shouldn't have said Black Mirror because that was giving it too much credit.
I mean,
something
it could have been a Black Mirror episode.
Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone episodes
yeah.
or Creep Show.
I guess.
It could have, because those are both, they're lacking in substance. They're not too they weren't well made. They were kind of rushed out, and they were
Yeah.
like, look at this idea. That's kind of what this is in theory.
Yeah, and then just getting back to that whole space epic thing, you don't have. I mean, the only reason that we even knew they were in space was because they were floating inside the pods. But like, I don't have that whole big, oh my gosh, you're in outer space feel in this. So that's why I didn't feel like I needed to see this in the theater, because like after watching it, I'm like, oh, that was kind of like, I mean, you could have just watched it on your TV and it would have had the same effect.
Yeah, you're right, because the locations are so closed
Closed
in. You
in.
don't have that epic vastness of space feel.
Right, like
That
like
gravity.
Interstellar
Yeah,
and
gravity and Interstellar.
Yeah, like you didn't have that. Like when we were watching Interstellar, I'm telling you, I was nauseous because I really felt like
I think you mean Gravity.
Or is that the one with Sandra Bullock?
Yes,
What's the one?
Gravity.
Yes. Okay, she was flipping around, and I was like nauseous.
Yeah,
absolutely
you
nauseous.
really get that feeling of space and chaotic,
yes.
and how you have no control.
I mean,
This
they could have
used
been.
a lot of
They
that.
could have been in freaking Kentucky. I mean, it didn't matter that they were in outer
So
space because it
funny.
was so closed in. But I mean, this movie's fine.
It's fine. I think at the end of the day, it's very easy for me to just go with something like mediocre for this,
Yeah.
because as much I don't like probably going, my mind would probably want to go up a little higher. I know in a day or two I'm gonna pretty much forget about this.
Yeah.
And so I'm definitely not gonna allow myself to go on, the one side of the fence. I think I'm just gonna stick right in the middle. And I think that, to me, like I said, all those things, all those problems, all those things that could have just been kicked up like definitely just land on mediocre at the end of the day. And I know, like I said, this is definitely one of those ones that it's just going to kind of disappear and people are going to forget about, which is a shame, because like I said, it did have a really uniqueness about it.
Yeah, it did have something, but it just it didn't really hit the way it should have. So I'm also giving it a 5.
Yeah, I mean, that just seems like the perfect score for it. I
It's
mean, it
just
really does
mediocre.
at the end
It's
of the
just,
day.
you can just be sitting, or, scrolling through the channels or the, apps or whatever, and just be like, oh, hey, what's this? Okay, I'll put this on.
Yeah,
It didn't really stand out.
it does feel like one of those find it in the end of Netflix. Like, oh yeah, this thing came
Yeah,
out.
like
Everybody
you're
checks it out
scrolling.
once.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, all right,
Yeah,
let's
all
check
right.
this out.
That's exactly it. I think that nails it.
Yep, that's what I got.
Yeah,
So it's mediocre.
I will also say that to add, I will say that if I guess I had to say anything more negative about it, I will say that the actress that is the main actress in this movie, there's a lot of weird stuff going on with her, like face acting. And there's a lot of weird tells that don't make any sense and are questionable at times. And I don't know why they were there. They did it way too much. And it did not, it didn't work here at like for me at all. And I think that was one of the weaker aspects. The way that people, and I guess this goes to script and directing, like I said, the way people react to things is kind of bizarre.
Yeah.
There's a scene where the the one actor that we were talking about before, with he's on Game of Thrones. He has a scene where a guy says something to him and goes behind him, and he turns around and screams, which is what I would call a trailer moment, like made only for the trailer.
Yeah.
It did not fit the scene.
No, it didn't at all. It was weird.
Especially since in the next scene, the next time you see that character, he's just like, "Hey." You just screamed
Hey.
at him not to do something, and the next moment you're just kind of like, "Oh, you know what? You shouldn't do what you do." It's like, what the hell? And you know that comes down to not knowing how to flow properly.
Yeah.
And but still, I still was never like, I hate this, or I was never
No.
like, yeah.
No, it was okay. It was just fine. Like the actors didn't bother me, and I do like the actress that plays Anita.
I like her too. I liked her in West Side Story.
Oh, she was
I
fantastic.
just don't know if here she was like the right fit.
It's just a different type of character. But yeah, sometimes her facial expressions didn't land right. But she was okay in this. I mean, she kind of just did the best she could with what she was given.
Yeah.
As like so like the other actors too. Like they were just doing the best they could, and I think they did a fine job.
I would say that the actor, again, I can't pronounce his name, unfortunately. I would, but the one on Game of Thrones, he's
Can I say
actually
it?
doing a lot.
Can I say it? Can I say it?
Yeah.
Pilu Asbayek.
Yeah. He's actually doing a lot. He has a lot to do here emotionally on his face. Mm-hmm. He's got a lot of stuff going on, and I will say that so does the other actor.
The one that played his brother. It looked like they could actually be brothers.
They weren't actual brothers.
I mean, brothers in
Oh,
the sense of
I
like,
wasn't talking about him. I was talking about the American that I was talking about before. That was on Newsroom.
Oh, yeah. He looked
Hush.
really, really creepy in this. I don't
Yeah,
know,
he's
something-
really good at that stuff.
Something's up with him.
Yeah, he was interesting in this too. I think they had the most to do, those two actors.
Yeah.
I really feel like they had the most range and the most unique like way of taking the role, and I felt like they definitely elevated their parts a little bit more than everybody else did.
Yeah.
So that's my thoughts. That's all I got.
That's all I got
That's
too.
all
I
I
got
got
nothing
on
else.
this.
It's like, okay, mediocre. Go see it or don't. It's
Yeah, I mean, this is January. Last January we were talking about this in 23. We were talking about we saw a movie. We forgot it existed. So that January is that time where movies come out and you're like, oh yeah, that thing. I forgot all about it. It's like the
Yeah.
dumping ground, unfortunately, because they know that the big Academy Award movies and the all the nominated type of movies are coming out during December and into January. They're still kind of peppering out to get the feels out there and re-release them for the awards. And so everything around it is kind of like, oh, yeah. Everybody's going to be checking out the good movies.
Yeah.
Here's some fluff on the
Yeah.
sides. We saw a movie, I think last year, She Came from the Woods or something like that. And we totally forgot when it came down to talking about bad movies of the year. You were like, oh my God, I don't even know what that is. And I'm like, see?
I know.
And we did an episode on it. So
I know. It's crazy because we watch so many freaking movies. So it's and I'm elderly. I forget sometimes my old age. So yeah, but we watch a lot of movies. But yeah, I did forget about that one.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Anyways.
All right. So yeah, that's all we got. I think they're thrown in the towel on this one too. Have a good one. And thanks for listening. And see ya.